for listening to my daddy's podcast. Please subscribe to our channel.
All I gotta say is, who dat? Hey, what's going on, Who Dat Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones. And yes, I am the host of the State of the Saints podcast. And thank you so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast, where we talk New Orleans Saints. Before I get started, I know the last time I went live here, we had a little technical difficulties with the sound. So before I get started, just want to make sure everybody can hear me. If you can just put yes, you can hear me in the chat, we'll go ahead and get started. I don't want to just start off the show and people can't hear me. So just want to know if you all can hear me. All right. Thank you, Jerry. I appreciate that. Thank y'all. Thank y'all so much for being here. Thank you for spending a little bit of your Monday afternoon with yours truly here on October 27, 2025. And we're talking a little bit about the New Orleans Saints. Final thoughts on this Week 8 matchup versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And, you know, Who Dat Nation, you know, watched the game yesterday. And I want to give a special shout out to all those that checked out the live watch along with yours truly as we watched the New Orleans Saints attempt to do something called play football against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And my final thoughts are simple. The New Orleans Saints are not a good football team. I think we all know that. This is not a good football team. And I don't think that things are going to too much change anytime soon. I just feel bad for the fans out there that are optimistic, like that guy that they had on television when Tyler Shough went into the game and he thought like something was going to be different. He up there holding up his Tyler Shough jersey and losing his freaking mind. And everybody pretty much knew like it really didn't matter if Tyler Shough was in the game. The result was just going to be the same. I looking at that game and going back and watching it, it was nothing really that Tampa Bay was doing that was causing the New Orleans Saints problems. And that is the biggest issue. Like the biggest thing that I take away from that game is the New Orleans Saints just constantly like beat themselves. Like you look at Baker Mayfield's stats. I want to say Baker Mayfield, I don't even think he eclipsed 200 yards. Baker Mayfield was 15 of 24, 152 yards, no touchdowns, no pick, and he had a fumble, right? I mean, you look at Sean Tucker, who ran wild against the Saints last time they played him. He had 12 carries for 42 yards. Rashad White, 13 carries for 35 yards. I mean, the wide receiver, Emeka Egbuka, had 3 catches for 35 yards. Ted Johnson, 5 catches for 43. Like, nobody on the offensive side of the ball, like, pretty much did anything. This was a lights-out performance by the defense. The problem is the offense is just god-awful. I mean, it's absolutely amazing to me that the New Orleans Saints put together this ridiculous display of offense, and they really were trying to get people to believe that they were actually going to do something. And, you know, I mentioned this on social media earlier this morning. I said that I think that the New Orleans Saints were intentionally trying to construct a team that would not be good enough to be able to win anything of significance. I think that the New Orleans Saints put together this football team, all the while try to be formidable as they possibly can, but they knew deep down inside that none of the players on the team, for the most part, would be able to rise above the situation and generate constant success for the team in 2025. I use the example of, like, if you go to the blacktop, right? And let's just say, for example, you got some guys standing on the side. So you say to yourself, it's like, okay, man, I'm going to pick this guy right here. He kind of tall right there, man. He could probably be my rebounder. I can probably get this guy. I think I've seen him play before. He got a little jump shot on him. And then it's like you and maybe somebody else, right? And then you go out there, you realize that the guy, he probably have a really good jump shot but can't rebound. The tall guy, he basically just tall for nothing. And you got one guy who probably can rebound but can't shoot. And then it's just you out there. You try to do everything because you have a mixture of rebounding and shooting at the same time. That is what the New Orleans Saints are in 2025. It's just a collection of guys who, I mean, on paper look like they pretty solid, but they're not good enough to be able to give you the results that you need on a consistent basis. And you can't look towards anybody else other than Mickey Loomis. And you know, the crazy thing about this is nothing is going to change. Nothing is going to change about this football team. Nothing. Like in most organizations, when you have the ineptitude of the front office like the Saints have had over the last 5 seasons, somebody would get fired. Somebody would get fired. There would be a complete overhaul of the front office. Do y'all realize over the last 5 seasons for the New Orleans Saints, there's not one person that is in that executive role. There's not one person in that front office who has been fired by the New Orleans Saints organization. From Jeff Ireland to Kai Harley to Mickey Loomis, everybody that they actually have in that front office, it's rather, if they're no longer there, it was because they decided to step down and go to another organization and work with them. And that is the problem. The New Orleans Saints have an issue because you only have one guy at the tippy top that understands football operations, and that is Mickey Loomis. And that's the sad thing about this, because Mickey Loomis does not run the New Orleans Saints organization like you would like a general manager to run an organization. What I'm about to say might make some people mad, but at this point, I don't care. You look at a player like Alvin Kamara. Alvin Kamara is a really good football player and has been a really good football player for the New Orleans Saints since he was drafted back in 2017. But it's pretty clear that Alvin Kamara isn't what he once was. Now, I can understand having a conversation with Alvin Kamara, talking about, trading him and stuff like that, but making him decide that, if you want to stay with the organization or not, with all due respect to Alvin Kamara, that's not his choice. Alvin Kamara is a football player on a team, and that team has his contract. He's contractually obligated to play for the New Orleans Saints. If the New Orleans Saints were like the Eagles, if the New Orleans Saints were like the Vikings, if the New Orleans Saints were like the Green Bay Packers, they would cut their losses with a player. And they would not allow their emotions to play a role, a major role, in the decision making. With all due respect to Alvin Kamara, I can care less if he wants to play for the New Orleans Saints or not. If he has trade value and his value can help the New Orleans Saints going forward, then I believe that the New Orleans Saints need to let him go. That is the reality of this thing, folks. Look, in any world that you live in, any world, any job that you have, it's about performance. I am the general manager of this radio station that I'm recording in right now. If I don't generate ratings or results, they can find somebody else to replace me. If you go to your job and you don't put together a top-notch performance, they are going to fire you. They're going to let you go. It doesn't matter. Oh, man, he's been here 10 years, 15 years. Guess what? In those 10 or 15 years, you were a really good employee. But when you start slowing down, slacking off, showing up late, not putting forth the same effort, guess what? Somebody else is going to take your place. And that's what I keep telling some of these Saints fans out here. Y'all get emotionally attached. And when I say y'all, you know who I'm talking about. You get emotionally attached to these players. And I get it. Like when you see these players out here in the street, when you see these players like taking pictures with you, and when you see these players like go out there and give you these amazing moments, it's hard to let that thing go. But in reality, that's just the name of the game. It's a business. And the New Orleans Saints construct their organization like it's a family business. I don't give a damn what Alvin Kamara feels. I don't care. I don't care. Like, with all due respect to Cam Jordan, DeMario Davis, none of that. Because that shouldn't be your main priority. Of course, there's an emotional aspect to it. But when it comes down to business, you have to make tough decisions. Anybody that is an entrepreneur, anybody that is rich, anybody that started off at the ground floor and worked their way up, one time or another, you have to make a tough decision. And that tough decision probably was the deciding factor if you were going to move your organization, your business forward, or you was going to just keep that thing stuck in the mud. And it's too much of that going on with the New Orleans Saints. Number two, absolutely zero accountability for mistakes. None. Guys mess up, make mistakes all the time. Guess what? Right back out there again. Right back out there. Why? Because nobody has the cojones to actually have a conversation and talk to them and hold guys accountable. Look at Juwan Johnson. Let's take a look at Juwan Johnson. This man drops at least 2 or 3 passes a game. Like constantly. Cannot come up with a big catch to save his life or anybody else's life. But yet, do the New Orleans Saints try to go with Jack Stool? Nope. Do they try to bring in Foster Moreau? Nope. It's just the same old song and dance. Let's just keep on keeping these wheels turning. Let's just keep on doing the same thing over and over again. What do they think? That he's just going to wake up one morning and just become Rob Gronkowski? You're wasting your freaking time. And this is another stupid decision. And I'm calling it stupid because it was. It was a stupid decision by Mickey Loomis by signing this dude to a 3-year extension. What did Juwan Johnson possibly do to garner a 3-year extension? Somebody please explain that to me. This dude has never been among the top tight ends in the league. He has never been he's never really been that good. For the New Orleans Saints to use him and sign him like he's top priority is laughable. But that's just another thing. It's probably because he got a heartwarming story. It's probably because he shakes your hand and gives you good eye contact. Who cares? This team has the New Orleans Saints, and it hurts me to say this, the New Orleans Saints are losers. And the reason why they're losers is because the front office are losers, the head coaching staff are losers, and it's trickling down to this football team. And now they are losers. Because the reality is you take on the personality of your organization, you take on the identity of your coach, and looking at Kellen Moore, homeboy look lost. Now, here's the thing. And I even said this. And anybody that knows me knows that I'm not one of them people that just hang on to a narrative. If I'm wrong about something, I'm going to go out here and say it. I think one of the worst takes that I said is when I don't even think I was comparing the personalities, but I compared the New Orleans Saints situation to the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions in Dan Campbell's first year, I want to say they only won like 3 games, right? But here's the difference. And I want people to understand this. And I want you to be very, very careful about how you put this narrative out there, because I made that mistake. The difference between the Saints and the Detroit Lions is the personalities of their head coach. Dan Campbell came in the building talking about biting kneecaps. Dan Campbell came up in there with a level of intensity to an organization, an intensity that the Detroit Lions play with to this very day. They have a level of arrogance, a level of fight, a level of grit that is because of their head coach. When you look at Kellen Moore, I don't see none of that. What I see is a passive-aggressive coach that probably is not going to hold guys accountable, not going to get into anybody's face. And look, I understand you don't have to be that type of coach, but that is the type of energy that is needed from time to time, because people have to know that you're serious. I don't care if you are like mild-mannered, like Tony Dungy was. Like Tony Dungy wasn't a rah-rah coach, but he held guys accountable. Kellen Moore holds nobody accountable. Nobody who got benched? Who got benched? Who got benched? Spencer Rattler got benched? Okay, cool. Why did Spencer Rattler get benched? Why did he get benched? Spencer Rattler got benched because everybody wanted to see Tyler Shough. Tyler Shough was the number one choice anyway. So it wasn't that hard for them to bench Spencer Rattler. They drafted Tyler Shough. And if Tyler Shough could have done some more things a little bit better than Spencer Rattler, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. The reality is this team is soft because, I hate to say it, it's looking like their head coach is soft. And when you have this type of problem from the higher ups to the head coach, nothing is going to change. Absolutely nothing is going to change. And the New Orleans Saints, before I get into the comments, are absolutely unwatchable. This is unwatchable football. It's one thing if your team losing and you talking about going through a rebuild, but they fighting every single week and it's coming down to the wire and you're like, man, I'm proud of what my team doing. They just don't have enough talent as of right now. But the New Orleans Saints for the last couple of weeks have been getting out-coached. Teams have been more physical than this football team, other than the defense on yesterday. I give them the credit for that. But for the most part, teams have been more physical than the New Orleans Saints. And you have a bunch of look like scared offensive players out there. You have a bunch of wide receivers out there that are a bunch of track stars. If they don't get behind anybody, they're not going to make a catch. No contested catches. Nobody is out there making no man catch. And there are no dogs on this football team or at the wide receiver position. None. It's just a bunch of guys happy to be there, but just smiling on the sidelines. I guess you could smile if you're making double, like 10, 15, $20 million a year. I'd be smiling too. But at the end of the day, where's the heart? Where's the passion? And it's sad to watch. And honestly, I'm wondering to myself, does Mickey Loomis like the state of the Saints? No pun intended. Maybe because Sean Payton was such a tyrant and Sean Payton had such a dominating personality, he never really felt like he actually mattered. So maybe he hired these two passive-aggressive coaches that wasn't going to rattle the cage and, he can peek inside the door and maybe feel like he is stronger and the most dominating personality in the entire room or something. Because what the New Orleans Saints have been over the last 4 to 5 years and what they have been displaying is punk football. That's punk football. So I don't think anything is going to change because you have an owner who doesn't know much about football. She relies on only person in the room that really knows more football in that executive role, which is Mickey Loomis. So Mickey Loomis knows that nobody is going to overthrow or try to step up or try to make any other decision before he does because they don't know. So they're relying on a loser as a general manager to try to figure out how the New Orleans Saints can get out this situation. The only thing I can say to you is good luck. Let me go ahead and read some of these comments, man. Tyler Shough didn't do jack either. Don't matter who the quarterback is, which there are more problems to be solved with this clown-ish show of a team. That was my whole point. And I said this a couple of weeks ago. people want to just zero in on Spencer Rattler. And look, justifiably so. Like I said, I'm not one of them people that just hold on to a narrative and be like, oh man, like, nah, but the reality is it doesn't matter who the quarterback is. It doesn't matter who comes in, it's going to be the same result because they don't have any good wide receivers like that. Like they got some guys like in order to be in the NFL, you have to be talented. They got talented wide receivers, but they basically one-trick ponies. If they're not wide open, they ain't catching the football. I promise you, I've watched Rashid Shaheed play football since he became an undrafted rookie, coming out of college. Yesterday was like the first time I've ever seen him catch a contested catch. It was like late in the fourth quarter, and you had a cornerback draped all over him. He sticked his arms out and he caught it. That was the first, I promise you, that is the first time I ever seen Rashid Shaheed catch a contested catch. Like most of the time it's because Rashid Shaheed behind the defense. Or like he has separation on a quick slant or something. That was the first time I ever seen this dude catch a contested catch. And Chris Olave, to me, I don't care what anybody says. Dude is not all the way there when it comes to his mental. He's still good. He's still talented. Don't get me wrong. But I just feel like some of them concussions over the last couple of years have gotten to him. And I still think it's still affecting him to this day. And I don't care because he had like multiple 95-yard games. Like that stuff don't change, man. That stuff don't change. What you have is a bunch of guys that are out there that are one-trick ponies. Get behind the defense. If I ain't get behind the defense, I ain't catching the ball more times than not. And like I said, maybe the Saints knew this. Like that's why they probably didn't put an emphasis on bringing in a veteran quarterback. That's the reason why you got Devin Neal returning kicks. Like they think about this, folks. No strategy at all. Like how many kick returners have the New Orleans Saints had? Let me see. Velus Jones was back there. Mason Tipton was back there. Devin Neal was back there. Kendre Miller was back there. Like it's like they're showing you basically right now in your face, like, we don't really care. Like you can't say that you want to flip the field on special teams. Putting guys back there that's not their wheelhouse. Like they constructed this team. Like I said, it's like on some American Idol type stuff. Like you go up in there, you audition for American Idol, you sing pretty good, and they're like, congratulations, you're going to Hollywood, and they're all happy running up out the door. That's what the New Orleans Saints got. A bunch of American Idol contestants that just happy to get the golden ticket to Hollywood. Like just happy to have an opportunity, happy to have a chance that I can call my mom up and she can watch me on TV. That's what they have right there. It's a bunch of guys that are happy to be there versus an individual that feels like they deserve to be there. And you know who acts like that? Dogs. Like when they get drafted, they're like, man, like I'm happy to be here, but this organization is should be happy to have a player like me and what I can actually bring to the table. I don't get that from a lot of these guys. I just think that you got a bunch of players that are just happy to be there. And that's what they assembled this team as. A bunch of American Idol contestants. No dogs. No dogs. Like where they at? I'm pretty sure, like if I'm tripping, let me know. Strolling down. All them first and second round picks on the offensive line, Trevor penalty. That's a good nickname right there. That's a good nickname, Trevor penalty. The defense should sue the offense for lack of support. Well, look, you can make an argument that, all those years of great offense and the defense couldn't stop nobody, maybe it's just turnabout is fair play. But yeah, I agree with you. That defensive performance against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Sunday, like that like you should have won a football game. If you can muster up some type of offense, you should have been able to win that football game. And then on top of that, like the defense was given short field after short field, and McLaughlin just went out there and just started kicking 50-yard field goals. So this defense did everything it possibly can to keep you in the game, and you did absolutely nothing. And it's pathetic. It really is. I only watched a few possessions with Shough, but mostly watched the Broncos beat on the Cowgirls. Yeah, look, man, I didn't expect much from Tyler Shough at all. And it was amazing to me, like when they end up making a change. I was going live, but I end up seeing on social media and people like, finally. I'm like, y'all just don't get it, man. Y'all just do not get it. Like, this is Disney. I keep telling y'all this. This isn't Disney. Like, where the backup quarterback just comes in and starts slinging 4 and 5 touchdowns. And some of y'all really honestly think football is like that. Tyler Shough, Spencer Rattler, to me, look like the same guy at this point. They look like the same guy. Maybe Tyler Shough can end up like becoming a much better version of what he is right now. But right now, he's basically on the same level as Spencer Rattler. Somebody please tell me what was the difference between watching Tyler Shough and watching Spencer Rattler. What was the difference? Zip on the football? Well, man, that was some great zip on that football to Juwan Johnson that he dropped. So it really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how much zip you put on a football, no matter what kind of side angles you got, no matter if you can see over the offensive line. It doesn't matter if the wide receiver can't catch the ball. It don't matter. Like, at the end of the day, it really does not matter. And that's what I want people to understand. It's way beyond just the quarterback issue. Did Spencer Rattler deserve to get benched? Yes. Over the last couple weeks, 6 turnovers in 2 weeks? Absolutely. Especially when you're on a short leash. You're not a first-round draft pick. You're not a quarterback that the organization is investing in. Absolutely not. Like, absolutely he deserves to be benched. But at the same time, like, if you thought like Tyler Shough was about to come in the game and just start slinging that thing around and all of a sudden like he about to facilitate a comeback, man, I would like to have what you're having. I would like to know what you smoking on, what you drinking on, because that is not realistic. This isn't a wide receiver or tight end worth a first overall pick. Looks like the Saints drafting the villain, Mr. Bane. Well, look, the way these quarterbacks are looking, they might end up trying to draft a quarterback. Because here's the thing, man, you get yourself a first overall pick. You draft you draft a quarterback. Because if you feel like, okay, we're having this down season because maybe finally we can get ourselves like a top pick, why wouldn't you want to go after a franchise quarterback? Somebody that like, okay, man, we got to build around this guy. Like, we may feel this way, but you should never like go into the year like, man, well, we're going to have about 2 or 3 more years of this. So let's just go ahead and draft this guy right now, and then we'll be picking at the top 3 again. No, like you pick like, okay, man, we got the number 1 overall pick. We got the number 2 pick. We got the number 3 pick. We're not going to be in this position again. So let's draft accordingly. So if you need a franchise quarterback, you feel like a franchise quarterback is needed, you draft that guy, because you do not go into a season feeling like I'm going to I'm going to lose again. No, I don't care. Like, I don't care if you do, like, you do not approach any season like that. And if you did, and if the Saints did, to be honest with you, the problems with this team is much deeper than we even imagine. The Saints are like the street team that's good in touch, but lose when they play tackle. I don't even know if they're good in touch, bro. Sean Payton was low-key the general manager. Now, I think that Sean Payton was just good at just taking what Mickey Loomis can put together and assemble and make it work. That's what I feel. Like, that's like, man, it's just something people like, it don't matter what they got in the refrigerator. They can make a good meal out of it. And Sean Payton seemed like that was the type of coach that he was. Like, it don't matter. Okay, man, I got a little bit of this, a little bit of that. We can make it work. But, I think that Mickey Loomis, like, is being exposed right now. And I don't think that it's changing. And it's funny to me and laughable to watch this dude. Like, to watch this dude sit up here and be, like, just constantly, like, just fail this organization and knowing good and well nothing is going to happen. Like nothing is going to happen. Like, this dude can fail 4 and 5 and 6 years down the line, and he probably still going to be here because that's just the way the New Orleans Saints operate. That's how the Saints operate. They operate the same way. Like it just, like, let's not listen to the white noise on the outside, and we know what we doing. They don't know they don't know what they talking about. Man, I don't see much changing. Big Sean Tasha was looking crazy too. Let's see. Tear this team down to the studs. Sean Payton was an alpha dog. Yep. And as you notice, like, the thing about it is, normally in a situation, when you had a successful coach, you want to bring in somebody that kind of maybe resembles those same traits. It's not like Sean Payton got fired, right? Sean Payton stepped down as the head coach of the Saints. It's not like so to me, what I would try to do is, I'm not saying I would go out here and try to find, like, okay, man, he act like Sean Payton, look like, but I would want somebody that possessed the same type of energy, the same type of like passion, love, like Sean Payton does. That's what I'll be looking for. They went like, the Saints almost hired like Sean Payton got fired or something. This is a guy who gave you the most success in your franchise's history, who stepped down. He didn't get fired. He stepped down. And you went out here and got the guy that is the complete opposite of who Sean Payton was. And then not only did you hire Dennis Allen, who got fired, you doubled down and got the same type of coach in Kellen Moore from the looks of it. The only difference is one coach defense, the other one coach offense. Somebody please tell me the difference. Passive aggressive, no one rattle the cage, don't really see no passion, no fire on the sidelines, none of that stuff. Basically, they just go a ride, they just sit up there just rubbing their chin. Like, what's the difference? Besides, one can actually grow a beard and another one can't, and the other one can't. That's about it. That's what it's looking like to me. I mean, that's just the way I feel. Like, sure, like I would like to try to maybe find somebody that kind of resembles some of the same similar traits as a coach that gave me the most success that I ever had as an organization, who didn't get fired. If the Saints get the first overall pick, trade down to get more picks, the Saints are several draft classes away from being good. I disagree with that. If you got the number one overall pick, you pick that you pick from that spot. Unless somebody give you like a king's ransom around this thing. Like, you getting like multiple first round draft pick for the next couple of years. But to me, I'm picking number one overall, because I'm not thinking about me being in that same position again. And then on top of that, like, the salary cap situation will be completely different in 2026. So maybe, just maybe, you can go out there and maybe get some guys and make yourself even more competitive. See, the biggest issue that we're dealing with and watching right now is the New Orleans Saints' ineptitude over the last 3 to 4 years. The fact that they can't aggressively go out here and sign somebody that's a free agent. They can't do that. And do you know why? Because they don't have the money to do so. But in 2026, the situation will be a little bit different. So now you can go out there and get yourself a free agent that you can bring to the team and maybe add to their position, and maybe alongside some other draft picks. And because we're looking at it like, oh man, we doomed and all that kind of stuff because they messed up the book so bad. But in 2026, the cap would be a little bit better, and you can go out there and maybe add players that you draft along with some free agents that can come in and bring and make an immediate impact. If we do not get a running game quarterback playing, going to be the same no matter who the quarterback is. Look, the running game sucks for the New Orleans Saints, one of the worst in the league, if not the worst. And, I said this yesterday, and I'm going to say it again for those that didn't check out the live. It just seems to me like it don't matter how bad a football team is. Like, even if they're not a really good running team, it always seems like they can at least find like a 20-yard run, a 30-yard run. Like the New Orleans Saints, it's like, you happy if the New Orleans Saints get 8 yards on the run. Like you can find the worst teams in the league that running backs can break free and get 20 yards. The New Orleans Saints, it looks like every on the offensive side of the ball, it seems like everything is just so hard to do. It's hard to block. It's hard to run. It's hard to catch. It's hard to throw. Nothing's easy. Like nothing's easy on the offensive side of football. Everything just looks like extremely hard to do. Mickey is the only GM that helps other teams, not his team, and trades Philly and the Broncos. Bears in the same situation with Caleb, and he coached to pass up on him. Nah, I don't think it's the same thing. Ben Johnson is definitely not a passive aggressive coach. Absolutely not. I wouldn't think. Nah, that is definitely not Ben Johnson. Like that's they were at each other's necks at the beginning of the season because of Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson was like, man, it's rather you gonna get this thing right or we gonna have to figure something out. Now, upper management was like, hold up, wait a minute now, man. This is our guy. We drafted him first overall, but shoot, Ben Johnson, like, man, I ain't got no time for this. It's rather this dude gonna get on board or we gonna have to figure this thing out in another way. So he is definitely not passive. I don't even want to say that about Ben Johnson. That is definitely not him. You have these organizations that have these top picks and they want to justify their decision making. So they want this coach to come in and try to make things happen. But if that player doesn't have it or he doesn't really apply himself the way that he should, then yeah, I mean, look, it's not going to be easy for that coach. And Ben Johnson, man, he's standing on business. I'll give him that. I know it is early, but who would you take at the number one pick? Quarterback, Fernando Mendoza. That's who I would pick. Him or Dante Moore, one of these guys. Like you need an impactful quarterback. Like you need somebody. It's like to me right now, and I apologize if I'm going to lose a couple of you Saints fans out there. This kind of reminds me of the 2005 season. Now, I'm not talking about the situation is completely different, right? We all know, I mean, the city was decimated, right? Destroyed, right? Team went 3-13. But what did the New Orleans Saints do? The New Orleans Saints, with the second pick of the draft, they drafted Reggie Bush. Reggie Bush was the best college football player in America. He was a household name. He was a superstar. And the Saints drafted him. And that guy symbolized hope. Like Reggie Bush didn't score a touchdown to maybe week 7, week 8. Ironically, his first touchdown came on a punt return against the Bucs. But every time Reggie Bush touched the ball, Saints fans was hoping something magical happens. The magic needs to return to New Orleans. And they need to find somebody that's going to be able to resemble that. So you got to find the guy that's going to do it. You got to find somebody that's going to generate a spark and basically boost the energy of this fan base. Because I'm telling you, man, like the last couple of acquisitions that they had that was making high profile, ain't moving it. Ain't moving it, man. Ain't moving the needle at all. They need a shot in the arm in this organization. Look, unless Tyler Shough about to go out here and about to look like I don't know, like a promising young Josh Allen, I'm getting a quarterback. I'm drafting a quarterback with the first overall pick. That is what I'm doing. You need somebody that's going to be dynamic. You need somebody that's going to be able to put a team on his back. Like, they may not win a game, but you like, God, dog, that dude was willing and dealing. Man, he threw for 275, 300. Like, man, he threw 2 touchdowns, ran for 1. That is what you need in this organization. That is what you need. This organization needs a shot in the arm. Not somebody that's just sitting up there, you just hoping and praying, don't make a mistake and don't throw an interception. So you're like, whoo, man. Well, at least he ain't throw no interception today. I mean, the bar is so freaking low now. The bar is so freaking low. We went from how many touchdowns Drew Brees going to throw in a game, 3 or 4, to, man, he threw a touchdown today. Like, at least he ain't turned the ball over. That's where the bar is right now. And it's sad, bro. It is absolutely sad how far this team has regressed at the quarterback position. You went from like the epitome of what the quarterback position is supposed to look like and be to like ish. I'm really starting to think the NFL got something on the Saints, or Mickey Loomis cares about is the money. He not worried about winning. He picked this coach, Sean Payton, wasn't going for that TJ. Look, I don't know if all he cares about is money. I don't think that's the case. I just think that he's just not very good at his job. I don't think he's very good at his job. That's my opinion. I don't think that he's very good at his job because I look at some of the decision making, man. It's a lot of emotional decisions and not a lot of business decisions, and that's the reason why the Saints in the situation they're in right now. I say Dante Moore. I only look at who fits system. I like Dante Moore, man. I like Dante Moore a lot. That guy's a gamer. I think that he definitely hasn't reached or scratched the surface of how good he can actually be. And I think that, he can bring something that's dynamic, something special to the Saints organization. And so can Fernando Mendoza. I think that he can as well. TJ, you damn sure right. Everything is hard. Even a check down pass is almost intercepted every time. They make every play seem hard as hell. Nothing's easy. Like I can't think of one play offensively over the last couple of weeks. I was like, man, that looked very easy for the Saints. Like everything is hard. Catching a pass is hard. Ask Juwan Johnson. Running is hard. Like 2 yards. Like screen pass, -3 yards. Like everything is hard for this team. Like the execution is just terrible. Terrible, man. Absolutely terrible, man. It is awful to watch. But I do want to take this moment. I got to mention the fine folks at MyBookie. MyBookie is the official sponsor of the State of the Saints podcast throughout the 2025 season. And right now they have a special deal for you. They have a $500 buy-in option. All you have to do is select that option. And if you bet up to $500, there's a chance for you to be able to get your $500 back. You can bet freely and not have to sleep on the couch after trying to explain to your wife that I lost $500. All right. All you have to do is use the promo code Saints and you can bet on your favorite game. No matter if it's the New Orleans Saints, no matter if it's the Washington Commanders versus Kansas City Chiefs on tonight, you can do so freely. So make sure that you download the MyBookie app and start selecting your bets today. All right. Shouts out to MyBookie. But let's go ahead and let's get back into the comments, man. Let's get back into the comments. Chris Olave is not a number one receiver. I think that's well established here, sir. I've been saying that for years. Let's see. I like that idea. Get Mac Jones, keep one of the two quarterbacks as a backup and draft support for Jones. Matt, look, I'm done with this, bro. I'm like, seriously, I'm done with this. I'm done with this. I am done with trying to sign quarterbacks. I get it. It worked back in 2006 when Drew Brees came to town. But no. Draft your guy. Draft your quarterback. Develop your quarterback and your system. Let him be the face of your organization and build around that quarterback. Build around that quarterback. See, the thing about it is you will have the money in 2026 to do so. You will have the draft positioning to look. If the New Orleans Saints have the number one pick in the draft, let's just say, for example, this doesn't change. They will get the 33rd pick in the second round. So if you get yourself a quarterback, guess what you could actually get? A really good wide receiver in round number 2. A really good wide receiver. So you're going to be getting two top 40 picks in the first 2 rounds. So you can get yourself a quarterback and somebody to throw to him. It's kind of similar to the Cincinnati Bengals. In the first round, they drafted A.J. Green, and then in the second round, they drafted Andy Dalton. regardless of what you may think about Andy Dalton today, and Lord knows Carolina Panthers fans probably like still upset at the performance. But when Andy Dalton came out of TCU, he was pretty solid. And he was a pretty good quarterback for the Cincinnati Bengals. So you had your quarterback and you had your wide receiver. And those two connected on a lot of touchdowns together. So there's no need for you to go out here. Like, while you out here, think about this. Mac Jones, the way that he's playing right now, he's going to play his way into $100+ million deal. So why are you giving up $100+ million to a quarterback that you hoping might end up looking like something? Instead of you going out here, you can draft a quarterback on a rookie deal, get his complimentary wide receiver on a rookie deal, and maybe you can go out here and take those $100 million and split it up between getting some better offensive line play, a pass rush, a linebacker, maybe a cornerback, something that can actually bring to your team to make it better, versus messing around with a top, like getting a quarterback who you hoping might pan out for your football team that you're going to exhaust $100 million for. Like, have we not learned from this before? Grabbing a guy like Derek Carr, giving him $100 million. I'm good on that. Draft your quarterback, put your quarterback in a position to succeed by getting him a number one wide receiver and keep it moving. I'm good on the Mac Jones, man. I'm happy Mac Jones is finding success. I'm happy Mac Jones looking pretty decent with the 49ers. I'm happy for the man because I'm all for a guy trying to find new life. Look at Daniel Jones right now. I want to say the Colts are like 7-1. Congratulations to him. Guy finding life. Sam Darnold out there in Seattle, finding new life. Baker Mayfield in Tampa, finding new life. But I'm good on that. I'm good on that. Will the Saints ever bite the bullet and draft an elite wide receiver or tight end over a more glaring need? I don't know, man. Probably not as long as Mickey Loomis, the general manager. He's probably looking at the offensive lineman right now. Who can we get with the number one pick? Who's the top offensive lineman right now? Right, trying to move Calvin Banks to guard. If we stand pat with our draft picks, what are the positions you are addressing with the first two picks? I'm addressing the quarterback position. And I'm addressing the wide receiver position. This team needs talent on the offensive side of the football. This team needs talent on the offensive side of the football. That is what I'm addressing. I'm addressing quarterback and I'm addressing wide receiver. I'll be happy watching Winston run this offense. Anything is better than this boring team. Yeah. Y'all want instant gratification, draft a guy and develop. Don't expect him to save us. Yeah, I don't think that, I don't want instant gratification. But I want a guy that's going to come in and you can actually believe in and has the talent and the skill set and abilities to be able to elevate the players that are around him, because that's what the New Orleans Saints need. They need a player that's going to be able to elevate players around them. Like you can take a quarterback. Let's just say, for example, they want to roll with Tyler Shough, right? You can probably take Tyler Shough, and if you can get like dynamic playmakers he can hand the ball to and distribute the ball to, like they'll probably find a lot of success. But let's just say, for example, that player goes down and get hurt, right? Tight end get hurt, running back get hurt. And now you're relying on that quarterback to go out there and rise above the situation to help you win week after week. Then you screwed. So, you need somebody that's going to be able to rise above the situation. Thoughts on Justice Haynes, the Michigan running back? I think he's a talented guy. I think that he's talented. I think he runs with really good pad level. But I don't know, man. Like, I think with the New Orleans Saints, look, I don't think anything's wrong with Devin Neal. I don't think anything wrong with him. I think that the Saints may just need to, number one, see what Alvin Kamara is, as far as, man, I don't know, utilizing him better or maybe going in a different direction. But the New Orleans Saints, they need They need to be able to utilize their running backs differently, like not just running them in between the tackles or stretch plays or halfback tosses. Like nobody's dynamic in this offense. It's like this offense is just as vanilla as ice cream. Okay, you run fast. Okay, man, we're going to send you on a streak route. Try to get behind the defense. Oh, cover two. Oh, well, I guess we can't throw that. Well, let's check it down to Juwan Johnson. Drop. You know, so I don't know, man. This team needs some playmakers, man. TJ, he doesn't care. He cares about the money. It's still coming in. He's making bets on the side, too. You don't care about this team. I feel sorry for you, TJ. I'm not dealing with the same same no more. Look, I don't know if he getting a chance at Billups on or not. I hope not. I don't think he is. But but I mean, look, he's just not doing a good job as a general manager, man. And honestly, you know, all these organizations care about money. You know, all of them do. Players out there and play like they are watching Power or Stranger Things instead of game film. Man, these dudes don't care, man. Because, I mean, why would you care? There's zero accountability from the coaching staff. Ever since Hugh Jackson left the Bengals, took Browns head coaches, Andy Dalton hasn't been the same, in my opinion. Andy Dalton was pretty damn good until they let him get beat up by not fixing the offensive line. Yeah, I mean, Andy Dalton was a solid quarterback in the league, man. TJ, if you don't see no changes, I'm sorry for you to be a fan of this team. Ain't no way he's still able to keep his job at the run this team for the last 4 years. I mean, he's running this team because they don't have any direction up top. Like, they rely on him to make those decisions, and that's the problem. Like, there's no accountability up top because nobody knows what they're doing, right? They just hoping that he figures it out and gets it right. You know, it's like, you know, he's a songwriter and you just hoping that he can write a hit because nobody in the room can write songs. We can find an edge rusher in the later rounds, but you're not going to find a franchise quarterback in the late rounds. Absolutely. And people will say, man, what happened if you don't get it right? Well, try again, just like all these other teams do. Facts, I'm tired of experiments. I'm tired of it, man. Like I don't want, like, I'm glad that Sam Darnold found success. I'm glad that, you know, Daniel Jones found success. Mac Jones finding success. But, man, get your own guy. Like, we got to stop trying to replicate what we did in the past. Like, oh, man, the Saints found Drew Brees in free agency. Drew Brees is the greatest free agent of all time. Like, he up there with, like, Reggie White as one of the greatest free agents of all time. Like, the chances of a team finding a quarterback in a situation that, you know, like Drew Brees ever again, you probably ain't going to see that for another 50, 60 years. Drew Brees is the greatest outlier in NFL history. Because if the Chargers knew that Drew Brees was capable of that, you think that Drew Brees would have left the Chargers? Wouldn't have been no Phillip Rivers. I mean, he's just the greatest outlier. Like, people want to go back and look, man, look how we found Drew. Yeah, that was a great moment in time, but that was also an outlier. Doesn't happen all the time. Let's see. I don't get some of the takes. This team has been in every game instead of Seattle. This team is a few plays away from being 7-1 instead of 1-7. Man, look, Javonte, I appreciate the optimism, bro, but this team isn't good, bro. This team ain't good. This team ain't good. I mean, if was a fifth, we all would be drunk. Right? I mean, every team can honestly say that if we did this, look, good teams find ways to win. Plain and simple. Like, we can talk about ifs all day. Good teams, great teams find ways to win. They don't beat themselves by dropping passes, like getting false start penalties in crucial situations of the game, stunt their own drives by fumbling the football, turning the ball over. Good teams don't do that. Right? I mean, it's just what it is. Like, this team is like, man, this team is no closer to prosperity than I am to Cancun right now. You know what I'm saying? Like they ain't close. They're not close, man. Like, look, I respect the optimism, man, but we got to be real about this. This is not a good football team. Saints not going nowhere for the next 4 years, and I'll be damned. I'm going to watch them if Mickey's still there, TJ. I gotta say, man, Greg, you may not be watching the Saints because I don't see Mickey Loomis going anywhere. I don't. You won't see big changes until next season. I think I already read that. Let me scroll down a little bit, take a few more, and then we can go ahead and get up out of here. It says also that combination with Breeze and Payton is what set us up. Trades just happen, not Saints though. Y'all all are being way too hard on the Saints. I mean, how are we supposed to be? We supposed to sit back and just be like, okay, man, they losing. Like, they're not a good football team. I don't think that's too hard. They just not. They're not a good football team, man. Like, and I hate to say it, why, but this is the reason why. This is the reason why the New Orleans Saints can get away with the stuff they're doing right now, because they have people like yourself that try to justify the wrongdoing, justify the stupidity, and because they give you, an interview or they give you a soundbite, them talking about, they trying to do things better. Like, this is the reason why they're in this situation. That's the reason why, because they're going to have people that's going against the grain, and people want better product, and they're going to have people, like, with all due respect, like yourself, trying to stand in the trenches, stand on the front line for a team that is not doing right by its fans, not doing right by you. Like, think about this, White. Think about this. If the New Orleans Saints really just cared about how you felt, would they have not come to grips in reality that Drew Brees was a 40-year-old quarterback that more than likely career was winding down? Like, wouldn't they have tried to draft a quarterback? Would they have tried to, like, kind of taper back the decision-making with the contracts and kicking a can down the road? No. Like, they didn't do that, right? So all I'm saying is, like, while you standing on the front line for them, why weren't they standing on the front line for you? Like, you knew that Taysom Hill was coming into the game anytime the Saints had to throw the ball 20 yards or further. Why is that? It's because there was the greatest secret weapon of all time? Yeah, well, he kind of is. But it's the fact that Drew Brees didn't have the arm strength that he once did. I mean, there were little things and little details that could have prohibited you from being in this situation, but they refused to look at it. So once again, why are you standing on the front line for a team that is not standing on the front line for you? And I don't think I'm being hard on the New Orleans Saints. I don't think I'm being hard on New Orleans Saints. I don't think these fans, the people that's watching this show, are being hard on the New Orleans Saints. The Saints deserve every bit of criticism that they're getting right now. They deserve every bit of criticism because it could have been avoided. But they refuse to turn the page. They refuse to adapt to change. Like, they refuse to just, go out there and try to do things differently. They wanted to hold on to the past too long, and they wanted to do it without two of the most important people within this organization's history, in Drew Brees and Sean Payton. That right there is just 100% negligence on the part of the New Orleans Saints organization. My family in New Orleans, who are ticket holders, said there was not 70,000 people in the dome who that nation already checked it out, hit them in their pockets. Yeah. A lot of people were saying they have that many people in the dome. They say, well, 2/3 full? You're supposed to have faith and trust in the team. The Rams can be beaten. They are not a juggernaut, and the Saints have a secret weapon in Shough. Who they do not. You trolling right now, bro. You trolling right now. You trolling, bro. From the team doctors to the top, we have no dog at all. Nobody gives a damn, and just showing up in uniform to lose on every level. Man, they don't care. Somebody says, do you watch football? I don't know if that's for... Unfortunately, I watch too much of it. I know you probably ain't talking about me, probably somebody in the chat. Look how fast they are turning it around in New England. They got a franchise quarterback and coach to go with it. Exactly. But it definitely trolled it. Yeah, that definitely trolled it right there. Say, TJ. Man, Good job, though. LOL, I used to be like that 30 years ago. In the words of Adam Pearce from WWE, I need a drink. Yeah, need something. To be honest, I don't think I ever saw Gumbo the mascot out there. Might as well put him out there, play tight end. Man, you saw how bad Shough was sweating, looking terrible. Yeah, he was sweating. Did y'all see that? Like, he was, man, he was nervous. He was nervous, man. And then on top of that, that's why they called that timeout. If you notice, did y'all see that timeout? Like, did y'all see that timeout, man? They were like in the I ain't never seen like nothing like that before in my life. Well, I won't say before in my life, but not on a professional level. Like, I mean, because, okay, so my flag football team was in a championship game over the weekend. And, you know, the kids were like all kind of riled up and stuff like that because, I mean, the team they were playing against didn't lose a game, right? So they were kind of nervous and stuff like that. So we ended up calling a timeout in the middle of it, just kind of get them like to kind of, you know, like just kind of focus and trying to take a deep breath, right? That's what the New Orleans Saints did. That's what the New Orleans Saints did. And I'm telling you right now, that's not necessarily a good thing. I understand being nervous. It's your first game, being thrust into it. Man, I hope that I can actually get it done. But yeah, man, they definitely called that timeout for homeboy to calm down. They probably thought he was gonna be like, you know, maybe gonna pass out on the field or something like that. At least the Pels are building something over there. Yeah. Louisiana needs something right now, man. Between LSU firing Brian Kelly and them going in a different direction, the Saints looking like slaw. Like, man. Yeah, his heart was in his throat. Yeah, man, he was nervous. Let's see, TJ, y'all was not lost in Louisiana. My Grambling State Tigers beat Jackson State. Yeah, they beat Jackson State. Yeah, I mean, look, probably ain't gonna happen again for another 5 years. So, I mean, congratulations to Grambling State. I mean, they ain't going nowhere. You know, and Jackson State, I'm pretty sure still go to Celebration Bowl, but you know, credit to Grambling. You know, it took a miracle, you know what I'm saying, to be able to get that thing done. But, you know, Jackson State, to me, reading their own press clippings, you know, like they're having that emotional win against Alabama State, thinking no other team can beat them in a SWAC, and they got humbled. So, but yeah, man, credit to Grambling. Like Grambling holding down Louisiana. But I got to go ahead and go. I want to say thank you all for checking out the State of the Saints podcast. Really do appreciate it. Much love to each and every one of you. Previous episodes available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor FM. Also, you can check out the State of NFL. Tonight, we'll be doing a live watch-along Monday Night Football, Washington Commanders versus Kansas City Chiefs. Follow me on X at TJAYJones8. Also, the NFC South Roundtable every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. So make sure that y'all check it out. Should be an interesting show. Once again, only one team in NFC South won on yesterday, and all the teams set offense back about 10, 15 years. So make sure that y'all check it out. And thank you all for your love and support. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Till next time, all I got to say is, who dat?
Thank you for listening to my daddy's podcast. Please subscribe to our channel.
All I got to say is, who dat?